UFC 313 is finally next weekend, boys. We're getting Alex Pereira back. Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313, headlining the fight card. In this video, we're going to be doing quick picks, quick predictions as usual. I try to pump these out for you guys every single Friday. So if you guys do enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get straight into it with the early prelim opener of the Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz opens up the early prelims, boys. This is not a bad fight. It's nothing exciting. It's not something that we're really going to be hyped up for, but it's not bad. Middleweight fight. Jordan Santos is making his UFC debut against Ozzy Diaz. Diaz has only, I believe, one fight in the UFC. He lost to Zhang Mingyang, who is a great prospect. He lost by KO against Zhang Mingyang at UFC Macau. Zhang Mingyang's a pretty good prospect. Ozzy Diaz, he did well in the first round, didn't do bad, landed some good shots, but he did get knocked out. The Jordan Santos is coming off that decision win in Dana White Contender Series. He had a good win. He was the underdog, and he was able to piece it together on the feet. He has good jabs, very straight shots down the middle. He's able to mix in takedowns as well. He's very well rounded. He's a decent middleweight prospect, not bad. He's not a guy who has an excessive amount of power, especially at middleweight. He's not a guy who's going to be knocking people out left and right. He is trying to pick you apart on the feet, mix in some takedowns, tire you out, and just land the better shots to try to get to the scorecards. Whereas Ozzy Diaz is more of a finisher. I think he's got a higher finishing potential than Jordan Santos. I think if this fight does turn into a scrap, I think Ozzy Diaz can find the chin of Santos and knock him out. I think it's going to be close. I am going to side with Jordan Santos to be able to get a decision in this one, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be decently close. Ozzy Diaz, even though he did lose his UFC debut, he has some pretty good fights, and his only losses, not even in the UFC, his only losses in MMA are to decently high level guys. I mean, he lost to, I believe he lost to Reyes. He lost to Reyes, who is obviously in the light heavyweight rankings. He lost to, who else did he lose to? He lost to some other UFC fighters who are in the rankings, and he wasn't even in the UFC at that point, but he's lost to some decent competition, and he's fighting somebody in Santos who honestly didn't look the best in his debut at his Dana White Contender Series debut. So the pick here, it's going to be close, but I am going to side with Santos to get the decision, but we'll see. This is like a 50-50 in my eyes. We move on to the next fight, though. Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall, another guy making his UFC debut. You can't really trust these UFC debut guys anymore, man, especially the guys who are undefeated. There's been so many undefeated prospects who have lost, so I'm not betting on any undefeated prospects anymore. I would rather bet on a vet. I'd rather bet on an OG, but Myron Santos is a good prospect. He's 15-1, coming off of that knockout win over Con Offley to become the tough champion. That was a nice knockout, very crisp knockout. He was backed up against the fence, landed a nice left hook, right hook, dropped Offley, had him already out, and then landed a follow-up uppercut. It was nasty stuff. Nice knockout by Myron Santos. I think he has a lot of power at featherweight. I think he's very good on the feet. We haven't really seen him too much on the ground, but Francis Marshall's scrappy. He's coming off that win over Dennis Bazooka. Not a bad win. It was a very close win. The fight was back and forth. He got dropped a couple times. He dropped Bazooka. It was really kind of back and forth. I don't trust Francis Marshall's chin, really. I'm going to be honest. He got knocked out not that long ago by, what's his name? Oh, Isaac Dulgarian. He got knocked out not that long ago by Dulgarian. He's obviously a prospect, but Marshall, his chin is questionable. He's got decent wrestling. He can mix it up when he needs to. He does panic shoot takedowns, which does worry me. I do believe Myron Santos will catch Marshall going in for a takedown or catch him on the exit of a shot. I think Myron Santos will find the chin and find the knockout. So I'm going to go Myron Santos by KO in round 2 or round 3. We move on, though, to the prelim. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leo, man. Not a bad fight. Alex Morono's coming off of a couple losses. Obviously, his career hasn't been the best, and he's in welterweight. He's 24-11, coming off of a loss to Nico Price, and who was the last guy he lost to? Oh man, 2 losses. They're both losses by decision, though. It wasn't too bad of losses, but he does kind of need a win here. But he's fighting Carlos Leo, who got absolutely robbed in, I believe it was Saudi Arabia, man, against Rinat Fakhretdinov. Man, I can't say his last name. Forget about it. Rinat, you know who I'm talking about, man. Absolute robbery. Absolute robbery. I'm not mad about the robbery, though, because I did have a parlay place, but it was a robbery nonetheless, right? Like, everybody who watched that fight knows it was a robbery. Carlos Leo won that fight. He's absolutely juicing, though. This dude is obviously juicing. He's off all sorts of Brazilian juices, man. I mean, this guy it's just insane. When you look at his weigh-ins, when you look at him in the fight, he just looks absolutely massive. I think he's going to crumble Morono, man. I think Carlos Leal, he's like a 5-1 favorite in this fight. Fair enough. He should win this fight easily. I think he will find a knockout over Alex Morono. So I'm going to go Carlos Leal by round 1 or round 2 knockout. We move on, though. Bruno Pereira versus Armin Petrosyan. This is not a bad fight. Both these guys are coming off of losses. Bruno Pereira coming off that submission loss to, what's his name? Magomed. Is it Magomed? It's no, Abu Magomedov. Coming off that submission loss to Abu Magomedov, and Armin Petrosyan coming off of that knockout loss against Shara Magomedov. So both these guys lost to some Magomedovs. I think it was on the same card as well. So both these guys kind of need a win here. I am going to side with Bruno Pereira. I think he's got power in his hands. I think he will find a knockout over Armin Petrosyan. Petrosyan's good. He's well-rounded, don't get me wrong, but his chin's questionable, and he does kind of put himself in open areas to get caught. Obviously, the loss to Shara, that was a crazy knockout. Once in a lifetime kind of knockout, spinning back fist. That's never happened before, really. But Armin Petrosyan kind of gave up in that fight. He gave up after getting knocked down. He just laid there, man. So I think Bruno Ferreira will find the chin and find the knockout. He's knocked out guys. He's knocked out decent prospects. He's knocked out people who, don't usually think. You wouldn't think that they'd get knocked out by this dude. Because when you look at Bruno Ferreira, man, he's not that big at middleweight. He's not humongous, but he has power. So I'm gonna go Bruno Ferreira by KO. I'm gonna say round 1 KO, man. We move on, though. Joshua Van versus Ray Surya, man. Not a bad fight. I think this is the first fight ever where two guys from the 2000s are fighting each other. It's actually a statistic. I swear it's a statistic, man. Joshua Van's like 25. Ray Surya is like 22, I think. But it's a good fight. Two prospects, Joshua Van is obviously on the come up. He's now ranked. Well-deserved. He fought amazingly in 2024. He's pushing that momentum into 2025. Surya is coming off of one win in the UFC. They're already giving him a ranked opponent. He's a good prospect, but I don't think he's going to be good enough to beat Joshua Van. Joshua Van is a guy that gets better throughout the rounds. His boxing is so crisp. Joshua Van is one of those flyweight prospects that's boxing is beautiful. His takedown defense is good. I think he's a solid prospect. He's a solid prospect. He lost to what's his name, Charles Johnson, who's fighting this weekend, but Joshua Van's good. He's very good. I think he picks it up in the later rounds. Ray Surya, I think he's going to do good in the beginning, but I think Joshua Van will tire him out, land the better shots in round 2 and round 3, and score the unanimous decision. So I'm going to go Joshua Van by unanimous decision. You just can't trust the prospects either, man, especially the undefeated ones. I think Ray Surya loses that 0 in this fight. We move on. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev, man. This fight got rebooked to 313. I'm glad it got rebooked because I can't wait to see Curtis Blades knock this big, fat Russian fuck the hell out, man. I mean, we need to see Curtis Blades knock him out. We need to see it because we just can't be giving layups to Rizvan Kuniev to get a number 5 spot in the heavyweight rankings. Curtis Razor Blades is going to knock this dude out. I guarantee it. Look at how big this fucking dude is. Look at how big this guy is, all right? I don't even care. I don't even care if he's, a high-level kickboxer or a wrestler. Or I don't even know anything about Rizvan Kuniev, and I don't care, man. The only thing I've seen is he doesn't have crazy knockout power. He doesn't have crazy finishing potential, and Curtis Blades will knock him out. He will knock him out. There's no way. If Rizvan Kuniev cannot take down Curtis Blades, hold him down for 3 rounds, he's fucked. He's fucked. Curtis Blades will knock him out, especially if he shoots a takedown. Curtis Blades will catch him on the entry. If he tries to blitz him with punches, Curtis Blades will catch him. I guarantee Curtis Blades will catch him, man. I mean, this dude is massive. He's not fast. The only thing that Rizvan Kuniev has is a decent jab. His jab's not bad, but he's not even a high-level wrestler or anything like that. He's coming out of Russia. He's not a high-level wrestler. He doesn't have knockout power. In this fight, everything should be sided with Curtis Blades. So I'm going to go Curtis Blades by round 1 TKO. I mean, this should be just obvious, man. Come on. Put some respect on Curtis Blades. I don't care if he lost his last fight. He lost to Tom Aspinall. That's fair, man. Tom Aspinall is literally champion, all right? So give Curtis Blades a break, man. Let's get Curtis Blades back in the win column. Let's move on to the main card. I don't know how that one's on the main card, but we open up the main card with King Green versus Mauricio Rufy. Not a bad fight, but they are feeding Green to a huge prospect in Rufy. Obviously we've seen Rufy go on a decent win streak here. He's just coming off that win over James Lontop. Solid win. Wasn't able to knock him out, but had some good moments. He stung him on the feet. James Lontop has an absolute chin, so fair to him, but Bobby Green does not have the best chin. This is going to be This is going to be close. I think, Bobby Green's obviously, sorry, King Green's, my bad. King Green is obviously coming off that loss to Paddy Pimblett. He got absolutely destroyed. There's nothing else to it. He got destroyed. I called that. I predicted that. I chose Paddy Pimblett. That was an obvious one. Bobby Green just didn't really have it going. Why is he panic shooting and takedown on Paddy Pimblett with the insane BJJ that he has? King Green's just, he's lost a fair amount of brain cells. It's gonna be hard for him to choose the right things to do in a stressful moment, especially against a guy like Rufy here. So I'm going Mauricio Rufy by decision. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. He could knock him out, but I think it will be close. I think it'll be rather close, more close than people think it will be. Bobby Green can throw hands. Mauricio Rufy's not going to be shooting takedowns, but I think he will be just destroying him at range. There's a huge reach advantage. He'll be destroying him at range, blitzing in, landing shots, backing out, dodging and weaving. He's very clean on the feet. Not the most powerful fighter, not the most powerful striker, but he's very clean. So I'm going to go Mauricio Rufy by decision. We move on to the next fight. Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucinda. Why is this one not on the prelims? Why is Rizvan Kuniev versus Curtis Blades on the prelim? I don't understand. I don't even know. I don't get it. I don't really want to talk about this fight, but Amanda Lemos is coming off that loss. She got submitted by Verna Jandiroba. Yasmin Lucindo is coming off of a couple wins. She's pretty solid, not bad. This is a close fight. This is like aging woman, moving out of the rankings versus a rising prospect moving up in the rankings. So yeah, I'm going to go with the rising prospect. I'm going to go with Yasmin Lucindo. Amanda Lemos is still good. She's still dangerous, but I'm going to trust Yasmin Lucindo to shoot those takedowns. She can shoot some solid takedowns. She's got good takedowns. Amanda Lemos is not bad on the feet, but off of her back, she really doesn't do much. I think it's going to be a boring decision for Yasmin Lucindo. Not much else to say about this fight, man. Moving on, though, we got Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm actually really excited for this fight. This is the first lightweight matchup where we have two guys at 6'3" fighting each other. These guys are tall. These guys are both tall, lengthy strikers. But I'm never ever gonna trust Jalen walk-off KO Turner, man. There's no way I'm just trusting Jalen Turner. I'm going Ignacio Bahamondes by KO or decision, man. I can't pick one of them, to be honest. I think it will be close, but since Jalen Turner got knocked out by Renato Moicano in the way he got knocked out, I'm going to go in Ignacio Bahamondes by KO, man. He's looked great. He's looked straight up great. He's coming off the best win of his career against an up-and-coming, dangerous Manuel Torres. He slipped that overhand right and landed his overhand right, dropped Manuel Torres, finished him on the ground. It was beautiful stuff. One of the only finishes on UFC 306. Is it 306? Yeah, 306 in the sphere. The best finish there, man. I mean, Ignacio Bahamondes, very clean on the feet. He also has good ground game, man. He can wrap up submissions, anacondas, darts, chokes. He's very dangerous on the ground. So I'm going to go Ignacio Bahamondes by KO. But I mean, if it does go to the ground, he could wrap up a choke. I don't trust Jalen Turner hitting a shot on Ignacio, dropping him, going for the walk-off. I just can't, man. I can't with Jalen Turner. I hope he gets out of the rankings. So let's get a rising prospect in Ignacio Bahamondes into the rankings. He's fun, he's exciting, he's young. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I'm going Ignacio Bahamondes by KO, man. By round 2 KO. I'm moving on though. Justin Gaethje, with co-main event, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I just found out real bad news, man. This is only a 3-rounder. It's only a 3-rounder, so it is unfortunate, but Justin Gaethje, obviously beat Rafael Fiziev in the first fight. Decent win, man. I mean, it was a close fight, don't get me wrong, but he absolutely brutalized Rafael Fiziev's face. Fiziev is coming in on short notice. He hasn't fought in basically a year and a half. I believe he pulled his hamstring or tore his ACL. It was one of the two. I think he tore his ACL. He's coming off of that injury, the knockout loss to Mateusz Gamrot, and then the Justin Gaethje loss. He hasn't fought in a year and a half, and he is the favorite. He is the favorite in this fight. I don't understand. I know Justin Gaethje got brutally knocked out by Max Holloway, but that was a 5-rounder against Max Holloway. He didn't need to take that fight. He took that fight. He fought a good fight. He got his nose broken in, I think it was round 2 or round 3, and now he's fighting Fiziev, who hasn't fought in a year and a half, and he's coming off of 2 losses. I don't understand how Fiziev's the favorite, but free money on Justin Gaethje, man. Justin Gaethje is taking this fight. I mean, it could be close, don't get me wrong. It is only a 3-rounder. That does change things. If this was a 5-rounder, I'd go Justin Gaethje all day, without a doubt, Justin Gaethje by knockout. But I think it's going to be the same result as the first fight. I'm going to go Justin Gaethje by decision. I think it's going to be close again, but Fiziev, he's not going to be throwing those dynamic kicks after tearing his ACL. he's not going to be as dangerous as he used to be. He's coming off of 2 losses, hasn't fought in a year and a half. He's going to have to get that ring rust off, get back into the octagon, start, warming up. I think round 1 should be easy for Justin Gaethje. He's going to slowly move it through the rounds, and I think Fiziev won't ever be able to pick it up really and get something going where it's going to be dangerous for Justin Gaethje. So I'm going to go Justin Gaethje by decision, but Fiziev's always live. He is live, don't get me wrong. He's dangerous, but I just don't think after a year and a half layoff, after 2 losses, after tearing his ACL, after losing to Justin Gaethje the first time, I don't think he's going to be able to get this one done. So I'm going Justin Gaethje by decision. But we move on to the main event, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. This is a good fight. This is a good fight, a fight we've been waiting for a while. Alex Pereira is on an absolute tear. He's been on an absolute tear. He will continue to be on an absolute tear if he beats Magomed Ankalaev. But Magomed Ankalaev has not lost since his first fight in the UFC against Paul Craig. That's his only loss ever is Paul Craig. All right, so this is a tough pick. This is a tough pick. I want to side with Alex Pereira, but the commitment of Magomed Ankalaev and everything, it's really tough to kind of choose between these two. I'm going to break down this fight more in depth in another video. I think I'm going to try to put that out, but Alex Pereira obviously is dominant kickboxer. Magomed Ankalaev is good on the feet. Everybody talks about his wrestling. Magomed Ankalaev has 0 wrestling. 0. I don't want to hear anything about Magomed Ankalaev. Oh, he's going to get a takedown. He could look for submission. He doesn't even have a submission in his career. He doesn't shoot takedowns. He doesn't have submission threat. He's going to stand with Alex Pereira. All right? And if you saw Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev, his legs were getting chewed. Magomed Ankalaev's legs were getting chewed, all right? He was getting dropped by leg kicks, and that was Jan Blachowicz, an aging Jan Blachowicz. He was still decently in his prime, but he was getting dropped by leg kicks. Alex Pereira's leg kicks are by far the best in the UFC, especially best in light heavyweight. I mean, he chewed up Khalil Rountree's legs, Yuri Prochazka's legs, didn't even get the chance to chew up Jamal Hill's legs. He knocked him out too fast, but his leg kicks are nasty. His kickboxing is so high level. I don't see an instant where Magomed Ankalaev connects and really rocks Pereira. I think, he could find a nice shot on Pereira. He's going to rely on his jabs, but I don't see him blitzing in, landing that really nice shot. I think this will be like a slow fight, slowly moving through the rounds. I think it will be a late finish for Alex Pereira. I think it'll be round 4, round 5 finish for Alex Pereira. This could even go to the scorecards. I don't see this one being a crazy barn burner where it's like a knockout in round 1. I don't see it happening. But I'm going to side with Alex Pereira. I don't think Magomed Ankalaev is going to do everything that everybody's saying he's going to do. Oh, the takedown threat. Oh, the submissions. It's not happening, man. It's not happening. If it does happen, I will be shocked. Alex Pereira's submission game is better than Magomed Ankalaev. Alex Pereira's wrestling is better than Magomed Ankalaev, all right? I'm sorry, but Magomed Ankalaev is not this crazy Russian wrestler with an insane amount of submissions in his bag. This is not Islam Makhachev, all right? We're talking about here. This is not Khabib Nurmagomedov. This is Magomed Ankalaev, okay? He's a striker, primarily a striker. When he goes to the ground, he can hold you down, but he doesn't land insane ground and pound. He doesn't throw up submissions. It's just, I don't know what people are talking about. So I'm going Alex Pereira. I'll try to break down this fight maybe further, but that is all my picks for UFC 313. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop your comments down below what you guys think about this card, what fight you guys are most excited for, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.